Hey guys, today's video is going to be a little different. I recently joined a makerspace in town. Basically, they have a lot of different tools and knowledgeable people that just want to help you learn and grow in your different skills and make things. So I designed a bunch of stuff for this project to be cut on the laser cutter. This is something I've always wanted to try, but I don't have the money or space at home to use a laser cutter. So I designed a box that would be the structure, but then I also designed a bit of engraving for the laser to engrave all of the tile work that was going to be in this project. This obviously would have taken forever if I had to do it by hand, especially how big this project is, and the laser cutter made easy work of it. You can see here how it goes very fast and engraves all these lines into it, and then I also had it engrave the missing tiles. All I had to do really was paint this afterwards, and it looked great. I did mask off the areas of the missing tiles before I painted it, but other than that, it was pretty easy. I also made this piece where the wall kind of goes in where the bathtub is. Then glued that together and started messing around with something else that is new to me, and that is oil paints, oil washes. I thinned these down a lot and then used some leftover paint thinner on this little foam to kind of feather the edges and make it run better. Of course, when you're around this stuff, you want to wear some protection and ventilate your room, but you can get the stuff that doesn't smell so bad when you're working with it, and that helps a little bit. I did really enjoy how easy it is to just put this stuff on and then kind of wipe it away and tone it down, and it makes a really nice grungy look. And this is just putting it over a flat surface. It is probably better off being used on a more textured surface. It'll really run into the crevices, and then you can clean off the top and make this really contrasty look. Then I knew I had a lot of rusty pipes to make, so I used a few different materials, but I used this texture spray paint to get a little texture on it, and then painted them a color. I think I ended up painting them all gray after this for like a metal color. Then I used this new paint to me. It's Rust from Dirty Down. I have never seen or used a product that is so easy and so detailed with just one layer of paint. It is not cheap at all for us to get in the States, but it is the best rust product I've used, and it was a lot of fun to just easily put this all over these pipes and get an awesome rusty texture. Again, here is that textured paint surface, and the rust paint does say to use a textured surface for best results, and then you can manipulate how the rust comes out as well by adding water to different parts of the rust paint, and the more water down, the more bright and orange the rust becomes. So it really is versatile, and you can even sprinkle water in it to get all of these interesting organic shapes to the rust. And again, I just think it's the coolest rust texture paint I've ever found. I'm not sponsored or anything by them, but I'll leave the link to the website that I found to get it in the States in case you're interested. Most of these little parts I 3D printed. I found some files online and I designed some files. So for some of the pipe connectors I found online, but then these sinks and that electrical outlet I designed, and I'm going to try to put some of them on my STL file store at my website so that you can pick them up and use them in your projects. There were just so many little details to this one that I had to print quite a bit. The toilets were from a pack that I found for a few bucks, and I'll link that as well. They came out really good, and I made these little pipes for the tops and bottoms of them. To get bends in these smaller pipes, I'm just using normal styrene rod and heating it up just the right amount and bending it. It works really well until you light it on fire and melt it. So you just have to be careful with that. So this project has been something that I've wanted to do for a long time, and if you haven't figured it out already, it is from the original movie Saw. I'm a big horror movie fan, as you probably know from this channel, and the first Saw movie was really good. It was before it got too gory and crazy, and the psychological thriller aspect of it was really interesting, and it's based mostly in this room, and so I wanted to recreate this room so bad. I know this room comes up in future Saw movies, but I really kind of just wanted to take what it was from the end of the first movie, maybe like the bodies have been removed, but kind of leave everything as it was after that. And I really enjoyed this project. I hope you guys do too. So I knew I wanted to film this from both angles. And so on this side, I created this doorway that the door would be removable. And then on the other side, the entire wall is removable. That way I knew I can put my camera on either side and get all of the angles that I wanted. The laser cutter definitely helped me a little bit by making the structure on the sides stronger. And so I could pull these in and out, and it was a pretty solid structure. And I made the ceiling removable for this purpose as well. This is what the rust paint looks like as it dries a little bit, and it just becomes rust, and I love it. So I started working on the mirror of the room. In the movie, there's a big mirror, and one of them throws an object at it, breaks part of the glass, and reveals that it was a two-way mirror where they were being filmed through. So I knew I didn't have too much time to create like the camera that was back there and everything, but I wanted to create this mirror and bust out one side of it and have the other glass where the camera was sitting behind just sitting there. So I made one side kind of just foggy glass, and this other side I used some spackle paste and these little pieces of wood to make it look like exposed wall, and then put another piece of that glass on the bottom side. Dirtied it up, of course, and then later on I added some broken pieces of glass just to add that little bit of detail. I printed out this electrical panel and added pipes to that, and just continued to add more and more pipes and details and sinks and toilets as I went. Any of you that have worked on a miniature project yourself probably knows that the majority of the project, probably 90% of it, makes it kind of not look so great, and you're always worried until the end that it's not going to come out quite the way you wanted it to. And around this stage, I knew that I just had to grunge everything up and really make this bathroom nasty and old and grungy, just like it is in the movie, before it becomes something that I feel looks realistic or similar to the movie. And of course, we needed blood. In the movie, there is a whole bunch of blood in the center, and then obviously at the end, big spoiler alert, he cuts his foot off, and basically blood goes all over. So I wanted to try to recreate some of that. And then I tried doing some of the details, like this clock that is actually not dirty. It was a brand new clock, and it obviously stood out, making the people that were trapped there realize that they did not have too much time. Then for the big sliding door thing, I used some mat board and cut some strips to use as panel lines, and then added other panel lines with a Sharpie. I don't think you end up seeing these in the end after I paint it all though. Just started adding layers of paint, streaks all over the place. It was a really grungy and strange looking material of a door. It was one of those things that I kind of wonder if they made on set for the movie, and it wasn't really something that you'd find, but I could be wrong. After a lot of different layers of streaking paint, I glued it to a little bit firmer of a piece of wood and moved on. I really wanted to create my own hanging fluorescent light fixtures. I had used those little LED filament bulbs in the past, and I figured that if I designed a little light fixture and 3D printed it, I could probably solder together these light bulbs, put them inside, put a piece of plastic as like a diffuser, and then use chains to hang them. I'm not going to show how all I solder things together, but I basically just used 3-volt LEDs that I get from AliExpress. I almost forgot to add the little heart that was on the toilet, and then I was ready to film this thing and get the final shots.
Game over.
Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this Saw movie reproduction, and let me know in the comments what your favorite horror movie is that I can maybe try in the future. I hope you like this one. I have to thank my patrons so much for the support every month, and if you are interested in getting any more from me and even just supporting me in my work, Patreon is a great place to do it. Hop over there and check me out. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.